Well, welcome back to another episode of In Good Company, where we believe that the best parts in business happen in good company. And today's guest is really what this whole concept, this whole studio was all about. My brother, Chris Thomas, is the linchpin of everything that we do here at the Content House, that we believe that just because something has happened to you, it doesn't change the impact and the power that your story has. Today's guest, I could not be more excited to welcome on his birthday, none other than my brother, Chris Thomas.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, good to have you.
Good to have you.
That's all right. I love it. It is good to have me. So tell me a little bit about the Syracuse jersey that you got cooking here today. What do we got?
So it's a Jerry McNamara. Most of you might not know, but he used to play for Syracuse.
Yeah.
And now recently he became the head coach of Syracuse.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can bring another championship to Syracuse.
Yeah, hopefully we get back to the glory days, bub. I think that'll be great. Now, for those that are listening that are wondering, why am I calling you bub? Where does this name come from? You're 3 years older than me, and ever since I've been alive, I've always called you bub.
Yeah. Well, according to my parents, it came from my parents. My dad at first wanted to call me Hank, I found out. And that quickly was thrown away by my mom. And they just stuck with Bub and then went to like Bubby and Bubster.
Yeah.
Like a Bubby-O.
Bubby-O, Bubster. I know some of our high school buddies called you Bubbles for a while. Bub has a lot of great opportunity with it. For those that are maybe unfamiliar with your story, kind of where did you grow up? Where do you work now? What do you do for a living? All that fun stuff.
Well, we moved a lot, but I grew up basically in Rochester until 6th grade, Fairport. Then 6th grade, we moved to Northern Virginia.
Yep.
Then, in 2007, we moved back to Rochester.
Yep.
And it'll be 20 years in August that I worked for Wegmans. And for about 3 or 4 years now, I worked for Lakeview Valet, owned by Connor Dixon Schwabel.
Connor Dixon Schwabel, this is his second time being lobbed into my podcast, and you're not invited here, Connor. Please leave our podcast alone. Yeah, it's amazing. Wegmans, Lakeview Valet, obviously those have been really, really great opportunities to meet some friends and to continue to give back in that way. I'm sure that those that are from the Rochester area recognize you. I feel like there's stories every single week that you share me. You're sitting in the customer service desk and somebody just rolls in from our church days or from, just running into you, or they know me or they know somebody else. What are those moments or those interactions like when you run into someone that knows your name or calls you bub and you're like, wait a minute, who are these people? How do they know my name?
It just makes my day, because some days like everyone has, some days are harder, and if you're recognized as, or someone shouts you out, then it just makes you feel good.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no different than GMAC when he gets shouted out when he wins a championship. Yeah. He's feeling pretty good. So give us a rundown of kind of our childhood, and we're going to get into just some funny stories and all that fun stuff. But as I said at the start of this episode, you have been kind of given a circumstance called Apert syndrome, and it was something that you didn't choose. Mom and dad didn't choose. I didn't choose. You were given this thing at birth. And talk a little bit about kind of your experience in childhood, of the surgeries that you had to have, kind of what your upbringing was like. Because again, for a lot of people listening, maybe they didn't experience that kind of upbringing. So just talk a little bit about what were the early stages of life for you, and what does it kind of look like for you to have this thing called Apert syndrome, this this physical disability that you've had to really walk into the world with?
Yeah, so it was a little tough growing up, but nothing too bad. Kids in school were pretty respectful, and no one really did anything harmful or hurtful. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my memories, and I've shared this story before, is I remember going to like Darien Lake, and I've always obviously been 3 years younger than you, but I remember going to Darien Lake when I was like 10 or 11. Or no, I think you were 10 or 11. I was a little bit younger. And I remember like young kids kind of looking at you, looking at your fingers or looking at your face or, different components. And I remember standing on my tippy toes, like trying to like keep them from looking at you. And it didn't help anything. I was a very small kid, but I was like trying to do that. And yeah, I have so many memories of, you had how many surgeries by the time you were 18?
Probably 20.
Yeah.
22.
22. I've always said 20. So if it's 22, that's even more than I thought. Yeah. So 22 surgeries by the time that you were 18.
And I finished with 24.
Finished with 24 surgeries. Right. So I remember like even me as a kid, I would be like in like the waiting rooms at the hospitals playing like Sonic in the waiting room, And then I remember there's pictures of us as kids where you would have like this bed in the family room and you'd have like a TV dinner tray, and I would be jealous. Like, how come I can't eat dinner in bed? And again, there's pictures of us as a family where that was just kind of a part of our life. That was a part of our upbringing. And what do you think have made kind of mom and dad so special and so integral as in our life as we've continued to navigate, what your syndrome has kind of created for our family?
They've obviously always been like in my corner, like by my side, just take care of me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think our mom and dad are they're incredibly, incredibly special people. And I think, having, now that I'm a parent myself and you're Uncle Bub, which we'll get into here in a second, I think we call you Funkle Bub. We've got a shirt, the fun uncle, Funkle. But our parents, now that I'm a parent now and I see the way that my kids operate and, trying to guide them and love them and, still discipline them and be firm, but also give them the opportunity to grow and to learn on their own. I just respect and love and adore mom and dad so much more. I think now that I've experienced how difficult it is to be a parent and, to understand all that they had to go through. They had to look at you and me and say, hey, we're going to leave our family in Fairport and we're going to move to Virginia. And the amount of uncertainty and unknown. And then, later you had already graduated, but I was trying to finish up my senior year and dad lost his job. And to keep our family unit in our place with our friends and our relationships, he moved up to the middle of nowhere, Black River, New York, to, take on a new business venture and continue to provide for us. And so again, can't say enough about mom and dad and how much they love us and care for us. Yeah. Any memories that you have of us that kind of stand out as just, they could be goofy stories, they could be anything that you feel like is a fun one worth sharing?
One that stands out is, I don't know how old we were, but for some reason we used to play one-on-one football in mom and dad's bedroom.
Yep.
And it was tackle, which for some reason it was a tackle football, but so we must have been really young because two teenagers playing tackle football, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But we would play for probably 10 minutes and then mom and dad would hear us and then we'd probably get in trouble. But,
I remember getting very frustrated with you. One of the things that our listeners need to know is you had very strong kicks like as brothers, we fought, obviously. I think that's normal for siblings. And you wouldn't punch me, but if you gave me like a nice little just pop with your leg, that I could still feel it. And I'm 37. But I remember playing football in mom and dad's bedroom. And, you know, I feel like, and I mean this respectfully, Bub, like I feel like sometimes mom and dad kind of babied you a bit, and me too, because I'm the baby, but they like kind of protected you in different sports and different things that we did. But we're siblings, so I wasn't protecting you. I was just trying to crush you. Like I was just trying to. I'm like, that's the guy that freaking kicks me, and I'm gonna pile drive this guy. And I just remember there was one day we were playing, and I tackled you pretty good. Like I gave you like a pretty good tackle, and I think mom came upstairs like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, he's my brother. I just want to be, you know. But I did value that a lot about the fact that there was no, you know, growing up, you were always Bub. And I hoped and prayed that every family had a Bub, because you are the best part of our family. You are the cornerstone piece for us that my kids love you. Mom and dad love you. All of my high school buddies, some of which love you more than they love me, which is not fair because they were my friends first. But there's so much love that has exuded out of you. And for anyone that's listening, that's been in a circumstance that maybe they didn't choose, or they're in some kind of point in their life where they can't seem to get through it, or they can't seem to change something. I think what you were able to do, and you continue to do, is you change your perspective, and you, every single day, you know that you look different, and you know that, you know, there may be people that stare, or there may be people that make you feel uncomfortable, but you don't let it stop you, and you don't let it, you know, kind of wear on your identity. But who you are is so much more valuable than what you look like, than what you do. And I love you, Bub. I'm really proud of how you've continued to overcome that.
Yeah, I love you too.
Don't just say that, Bub. I mean, I said it first, so you can't just steal that. But
well, sorry, I'm gonna hate you then.
Oh, perfect. So let's talk about some things that you love, even though you hate me. You love Buffalo Bills football. You love fantasy football. You've been the running commissioner for we got our high school buddies fantasy league. That's how many years old? I think we've got like Roman numerals in the league now. We're up there.
It might be close to 20.
20 years. Yeah, I think, geez. For any fantasy football listeners out there, what's kind of that one piece of advice from the commissioner's perspective? How do you win championships? What's that?
Well, I haven't won many championships, but always look for these hidden gems. These hidden gems, because every team throws the ball. So even if they're on a bad team and you're in a PPR league, they're certainly at targets.
Yeah. For those listening, PPR means points per reception. If you are not a fantasy football guru like us.
So yes, and same with the running back. Every bad team has a running back, and they're going to run the ball, and he might not be like a James Cook.
Ooh.
But
I've had James Cook the past 2 years.
But he could produce you a good amount of points.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So those hobbies that you've got, whether it's, watching football, doing video game stuff, obviously working, I think you've developed that into a great hobby with valet and being able to form some friendships and things. But, one of the memories that I have of growing up was with your physical disability, you weren't able to play as many of the same sports as me. Yet, early on, you and I would find ways to still do it together. So I remember early on, you would be like assistant coach, on the sideline with me, in like normal kind of middle school level, right? And then you started doing like the scoreboard for the local high school where you would, did you travel with the team? I can't remember. Yeah. So like you traveled with the team. I never even made the team. And here Uncle Bub is just rolling with the squad. But yeah, you would do the scoreboard, the timer. And that's like a high pressure thing for anyone that's done that before. I mean, you got parents that are cussing out, super intense. You got high school athletes that are really trying to win this thing in Northern Virginia, where a lot of these guys are going Division I. Like it's a pretty legit thing. Talk about that experience, kind of being in that role, in that position. What was that like?
It was fun. I mean, it was a few tense moments when where there's a close game, and I caught myself watching the game rather than focusing on my job at the time. But it was fun. It was people I knew were on the team, so it was fun.
That is a tough thing. I think I did it for one of the house league games once or like something. And like starting the timer, which team scored the 2 points. Like it's no joke. Hopefully they have better like computers and stuff now. But back then we were just sitting in front of this little thing. But why did it feel important to you that despite kind of you not being able to play the sports yourselves, why was it important to you, despite not being able to play the sport yourself, to just be involved and to, again, travel with the team? You put real work into what you were doing. Why was that important to you?
It was important because it showed people that even though you might not be perfect, you can still be a part of something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I agree. And I think we made a lot of lifelong friends from, again, those years that you spent. I think about Marcus. I think about, some of these guys that were on the JV team that I never made, but I made the summer league team once, which was cool.
I think one time I beat you and Jamie Lipsky in 21, I think.
Whoa. Yeah. That's kind of...
Sorry, Jamer.
Shout out Jamie Lipsky. Wow. Love that guy. Happy that Jamie made it in the pod. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other memories from our childhood that I think would really stand out. And again, for those that are listening that maybe have kind of a sibling dynamic like we have, where we've got some really good experiences and, we're laughing about some things. What would you say, though, for someone listening that's had kind of a difficult journey with their sibling? What are some of those memories with us that maybe were challenging when we were kiddos? Like, and again, this could be like a couple of examples. This could be maybe just something that you feel like was kind of a challenge. We have a portion in our podcast each week called Fails of the Week. And so it's easy for people to see social media. It's easy for them to hear stories of our perfect little family. But what was actually hard? What was kind of a fail, growing up that maybe we felt like was a difficult part? I think that I remember when we were younger, you and I were buddies. We shared the same friends. Like everything was cool. And then when I hit puberty and I was interested in girls, and, we had the community pool up at Windmill Drive, and I got to go with my buddies and swipe my pool pass and, go hang with the babes, right? During that window of my life, I remember feeling like, Bub, leave me alone. Like, I remember feeling like probably a normal sibling dynamic, like, dude, I'm trying to mac on the ladies, right? Like, give me some space. And I just remember kind of looking back on that time, mom and dad were respectful of kind of that coming of age, so to speak, of my life. But it does feel like a fail to me, because I think that, again, some of those best childhood memories are when we really got through that obnoxious window of puberty and actually have lifelong friendships that you and I share, which I think is really that's the point. That's the hope, What about you? Anything? Growing up, who got in trouble more between you and I?
I think it was even, but if I were to have to guess, it might have been you, just from what you said earlier about mom and dad kind of protecting me probably more.
Yeah.
So and we each had our own thing. We each would, like all siblings do. One would instigate, and the other one would hit the person. Which you probably know as a father, your kids probably do the same thing, and
They do.
And then the person that has the last punch, or in my case maybe kick, would get in trouble for it.
Yeah, speaking of that, I have a story. You were really kicking me one day. This was in the apartments before when the Virginia house was being built. You were really kicking me one day. And Mom said, Christopher, if you kick him one more time, we're not going to go to wherever we were going to go. And I was just sitting, you were tying your shoes, and I was just sitting in front of you, and I jolted back pretending like you kicked me. I was like, Mom. And she goes, Christopher, that's it. Go to your room. And I did it. I pretended. And then I felt guilty, and I went to Mom and I said, I'm just kidding. But that was a great story. That was probably one of my best fake outs. What would you say growing up, Bub, would be a moment that you feel really proud of yourself for? Like, was there any kind of thing that you overcame, in, middle school, high school? What were some of those things that maybe you look back on and you're like, you know what? I'm really proud of myself.
I think when I learned how to drive a car and to get my license.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if I could or not, but I worked through it with the help of my grandpa.
Yeah. Grandpa Max helped us both in so many ways. I forgot that you used to go driving with him, and yeah. He was at that stage of life where he was probably like, listen, man, if this thing goes down, it's all good. I got a couple years left anyway. You just drive this around. And think about the level of freedom that's come from being able to drive. I mean, for you to be able to go to Wegmans and work, for you to be able to go visit Mom and Dad at the cottage, and that's awesome.
To actually work for a company that requires me to drive to.
Yeah. Yep.
And my first day on the job, actually, Connor yelled at me for not using the backup camera. But at the time, I had a car with no backup camera, so I wasn't used to the backup camera. And yeah, but
how is Connor as a boss?
Oh, I love Connor. Yeah, he's the best. Let's
give him some constructive criticism if he can tap into the pod. I feel like
no, there's nothing. He when I started, he was overwhelmed. I think because like anybody, he had a wife, kids.
Yeah.
And another full-time job.
Yep.
So he needed some support with like scheduling, finding someone to take over the everyday aspect of the job. If someone calls, needs help because someone hit someone's car.
Yep.
Someone got a parking ticket.
Yep.
So Connor, over the past few years now, he's hired him a general manager, which that's really
it's great.
Made Connor's life easy, and it makes the business flow better.
Yeah.
Which it's not Connor's fault, like before, but it's just helps out everybody when you have basically I'm an assistant.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. What would you say, when things get tough in life, for you specifically, like what are the things that help you, like what keeps you going? What motivates you to continue to move forward?
Well, as people say, the world's an oyster, so just keep pushing through.
Yeah.
And days will come and go, but as long as you're positive, have fun, make jokes, laugh.
Yeah,
that's all I can really.
Yeah, I know. As you're saying that, it sounds easy, And part of it is because of the family that we grew up in, the way Grandma and Grandpa were married for 70 years together and demonstrated love and joy. And Mom and Dad have been together our whole life, and they continue to demonstrate in good times and bad, that they're going to continue to stay committed together, with each other. But for someone listening that kind of hears you say that, that's hard for people to laugh, to find joy, to find purpose. And I know one of the elements that you and I shared is our faith history and kind of story of when I had worked at the church. You were kind of coming into your own in your faith, and you were volunteering at the church. I had the honor of baptizing you at the church. Talk about that kind of window and journey of our life. How has faith kind of played a role in your purpose and in you continuing to overcome hard things? How has that played a part in your life?
It's been really good. It just helps me get on the right track, and I think that God put me here for a reason, just to make joy.
Yeah, big time. I agree. My wife's middle name is Joy, so there you go. Yeah, I agree with you. God 100% put you here for a reason. And as I said before, my life is better. My kids' life is better. My entire family's life is better for having you in it. Mom and Dad, everything that we have accomplished, that I have accomplished, could never have been done without you. 100%. And I'm just very, very grateful that, we've had a chance to obviously have this type of conversation on your birthday, here in this spot. So let's talk about your birthday for a second. 40 years old.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? 40 years on this planet.
Yeah.
What's that feel like?
It feels old.
Yeah.
But it's okay. As my I think my dad said this past weekend, well, you're halfway through your life already. Oh, okay. Well, if I die at 80, sure, but I hope to live past 80.
Yeah.
But
yeah, keep that to yourself, Dad. Modern medicine's getting better. We're living long, baby. What is maybe one piece of advice that you've learned in your 40 years of life? What is kind of one thing that's really stood out of how to live a life of joy, like you're mentioning, how to, kind of find purpose when things seem hard? What's kind of that one thing that...
Just never give up. If you have a tough morning, then just throw that to the side and then look for the next good thing to happen that day. Maybe you might be in line at Starbucks and someone in front of you buys your coffee.
Yeah.
And then like you might buy the coffee for the next person.
Yeah.
So yeah, if something small happens during the day or even big, just push it to the side and find the next good thing to happen.
Yeah. I think that that's really great advice, because I think a lot of times people will not push something to the side. I know I'm guilty of that sometimes, where a small thing can become a huge thing, and then that's all that you're focusing on that day, and that's all that you're thinking about that day. And so great advice, because I think, people need to find avenues where they can continue to push through some of those things. Couple more questions before we get into our rapid fire hot seat questions. So a couple more questions before we get into our rapid fire, but this is one of my favorite categories we're going to be talking about is Uncle Bub. Talk to me about when you walked into that hospital room. The first time you were Uncle Bub was little Gio was sitting in his, as quiet as he'll ever be, because now he's just recklessly loud. But he's just sitting in his little thing. I think it was right before COVID. It was January of 2020.
January of 11th.
Yes. Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Very good. What was that like? What was that? Talk about that feeling.
It was amazing.
No, you're fine. This is great.
It was truly amazing.
He, he was born January 11th, and then I remember you guys were kind of waiting in the waiting room, and I mean you were out there, so I wasn't, but I think they like play a sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, when a new baby is born or something, and pretty wild. It was unbelievable, and so Gio, he kind of made you Uncle Bub. And then, a few years later, Melania May comes out, and now you got your Uncle Bub to a little boy and a little girl, and they love you. They love FaceTiming you, hanging out with you. You always make jokes with G about, giving them like Pop-Tarts and Mountain Dew for breakfast.
Yeah, maybe someday in a few years, I will have them over, maybe have Mike and his wife can have a nice date night. And them not to worry about their kids, but then when the kids come home, they might be all sugared up.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrible, Bub. So you're not helping your cause of.
Mountain Dew, sugar cereal, ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
That sounds great. So 40 years in, Uncle Bub working at Wegmans. Looking back on this snapshot of 40 years, what is one piece of advice that you maybe wish that you would have told your younger self? What is something when you were, growing up different in this environment where you were moving and changing homes every once in a while? What's kind of one piece of advice that you wish you would have given yourself?
To apply for more full-time jobs within Wegmans. I've been part-time for 20 years. And I've applied before, and unfortunately I did not get it.
Yep.
But just like I said before, keep trying.
Yep.
And eventually something good will happen.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about even you saying that is, yes, you've continued to keep trying, but you have also taken like side hustle type opportunities like a Lakeview valet, some of these other jobs where you're not just kind of sitting on your hands waiting, but you're continuing to move forward with that, which is absolutely awesome. Cool. Any other questions for me? Thoughts for me? What is it like being my brother? What is it like for me to be your brother?
Yeah, it's been fun. We used to do Madden tournaments all the time. And
who won those typically?
I can't remember.
No, it was me.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was 100% me.
I mean, it could have been Austin Lawyer. He was pretty good.
Wow, another shout out. Our childhood buddies, Austin Lawyer. Shout out. It's incredible. Austin was not good, by the way. I was the best.
Well, Austin would break some controllers too.
Wow.
Thank God they weren't our controllers, but
wow, it's incredible. I've got one more quick segment, and then we'll be done. But I could obviously talk to you forever. So, and we will continue to talk forever. There was also another window after middle school, high school. I then went to college. And, you didn't go to kind of a traditional college experience. And yet when I was at St. John Fisher, this Uncle Bub train, you weren't Uncle Bub at the time, this Bub train just kind of like meanders his way onto the Fisher campus. And you're in the dining hall with me and my friends. You're like, hey, can I sleep over again this weekend? And all of a sudden, like my roommates and people that don't even know you, they're like, yeah, Bub, come on in. And again, here I am again, trying to live my own life. And Bub just keeps seamlessly integrating into everything that I'm doing. Talk about what was that like, kind of, again, getting to be a part of kind of that college experience without having to pay for it, really.
It was fun. And I didn't have to pay for it. I got free meals with the late night food too. That was pretty good. I had free parking because I used a handicap sticker, so I never got a parking ticket. But my favorite moments were when I would call it my go big or go home. And that's actually coming up this weekend too, the NFL draft.
Oh, is that where that originated?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would spend probably maybe close to like $100, maybe $50 at the time. But yeah, pizza, probably chicken wings, chips, maybe a cake for dessert.
Yeah.
Soda.
Wow.
No alcohol though, I don't think. But
no, ironically, we weren't big drinkers in college. Yeah. Which is ironic because I feel like that's the window, but we missed it. I remember that. Yeah. You just rolling in, man. People were impressed. You were showing, that, it's like that hyper generosity and, hospitality type of experience. You were showing that for sure. And then, yeah, I don't know, everywhere we go, it's like people fall in love with Bub. People love Bub. They start inviting Bub places. And I'm like, what about me? I'm the one that's paying for college with my parents' help. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I'm attending these classes. I'm doing all this stuff and people want to just hang out with Bub. What is going on? So anyway, story of my life. But
yeah. And then your senior year, when you graduated, I took you and your friend Alex Jorgensen to Daytona Beach, Florida.
Yes, you did. Alex Jorgensen brought this up to me about a week ago. He called me. He's like, man, I was thinking about Bub the other day because, man, he's so generous and that was so nice. He paid for the whole trip and, we flew down to Florida and did our thing and that was awesome. Yeah. You've always been generous, Bub. I think I remember just even Christmas gifts and like other things. I think when Alicia and I were first married, you bought us like this massive TV for like our new apartment or whatever it was. And it was just one of those gifts where you're like, ugh, like my $50 gift for you is definitely going to fail in comparison to what you just bought me. Where do you think that comes from? Where does that giving nature come from?
Just to see others happy, really. Because I know whether it's a big gift or a small gift, just to see someone opening up and excited just makes me happy, makes them happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And that, with our kids, is obviously the single greatest joy right now for us, is just seeing those moments when, you realize that there's just complete joy on their face. G has been really into basketball lately. And one of the neighbors, like 3-4 houses down, has this old raggedy like basketball hoop that, you got to get sandbags and cement blocks to keep it up and it's rusting and all this stuff. And it's just laying outside in their backyard. So I text my buddy, I say, hey, G really wants to play basketball. Can we go pick up this hoop? He goes, yeah, dude, if you can carry it, you can have it. And so I look at G, this is over this weekend. I look at G in the eyes and I go, G, I just got you a basketball hoop. And he's like, no way. And so again, he doesn't care that it's rusted and it's fallen off. And, but to see his face, to like experience those type of moments with them are absolutely priceless, absolutely awesome. For Mila, because she's young enough, I can just get her like a ring pop or a cake pop at Starbucks and she feels like that's a gift. So that works too. All right, let's finish up with our rapid fire hot seat questions. This is a tough one. Some of these are tough. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
What is your favorite? Actually, no, I'm going to ask it this way. If there is one Buffalo Bills player that you could have dinner with, past, present, who would it be?
Jim Kelly.
Wow.
And I say that because he's obviously overcame a lot too.
Yeah.
With his cancer, so.
Yeah. Gonna skip Josh, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh had a baby now.
Yeah, Josh doesn't care about us anymore.
Josh is busy.
Ugh. What is your dream vacation spot? You can't say Daytona Beach because you already took us there. You got to pick somewhere cool.
Maybe Honolulu.
Whoa.
Like that song. I'm going back to Honolulu.
Okay. Sing it out, bub. Let's get it going. Who do you think is funnier, you or me?
Probably you. You.
Well, I don't think so.
It's all right.
I was really hoping you were going to say yourself, but that's great. What is one word that you would use to describe yourself?
Joyful.
Big time. What is one word that you would use to describe me?
I'm intelligent.
Whoa, I'll take that. Intelligent.
Yeah.
Let's go. Wow. Well, Bub, I don't know if you have any other questions for me, but this has been awesome. It's your 40th birthday. I can't believe, for mom and dad listening, even if they're the only ones listening, thank you for tuning in, because thank you for being here, because this is just one of those special episodes. And again, I can't stress it enough. When we, growing up, I always felt like in my life that I was fighting for the underdog, that I was protecting you and the essence that you have, the joy that you bring. As you mentioned, your word, joyful. I always felt like I was fighting for the underdog, that just because of what has happened to you, it doesn't change how valuable you are. It doesn't change how valuable your story is. And so part of the reason that we launched the Content House is not just for me to sit here and interview others on my podcast, but to give you, anyone that's listening, the opportunity to say, hey, I don't care what's happened to me. It doesn't change how impactful my story is. And so for people to come to this space to share their story, if you can do it, they can do it. Yeah. If I can do it, they can do it. And for someone that's maybe on the fence, that feels scared to talk, you're not the guy that wants to go stand on a stage and be a public speaker, but you just sat here for 45 minutes and you talked with me. What advice might you have for someone listening that's just, they're scared to get their story out, or they feel timid that their story doesn't matter? What advice might you have for them?
So every story matters, whether it's a big one, small one. You had one surgery, you had 85 surgeries, you have one arm, you have one leg. Just tell your story. Everyone wants to hear a story. Just don't be afraid. Just share your story.
Yeah. You never know who's on the other end that needs to hear that story. And it could heal them. It could help them. Could continue to bring them joy, bring them purpose. Well, Bub, I love you. I couldn't be more proud of the man that you're becoming, and the fact that we have experienced so much life together, and knowing all that you've overcome and knowing all of the joy that you still find in front of you. I'm reminded of the Bible talks about when Jesus endures the cross. The Bible says that it was the joy set before me that I endured the cross. That the reason he went through the hard thing, the impossible thing, was because there was joy on the other side of it. And I look at your first 40 years and I think about all the hard things that you've had to overcome and that you've had to go through. And I really believe that joy is going to continue to be that definition that continues to carry you into the next 40 plus, so that we get past what Dad said about being halfway through. But I love you. I'm proud of you.
I love you too.
And thank you so much for tuning in to a family episode of the In Good Company podcast. We really do believe that the best parts in business happen in good company. Happy birthday, Bub.
Thank you.
And take care.
Thanks for listening to In Good Company. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with Mike, visit him online at thomasmediagroup.co or on Instagram at Michael L. Thomas. Thanks again for listening, and remember, the best of business happens in good company. We'll see you next time.